It's time to hear from our vendors and welcome from BT Business, Steve Blackshaw, from Microsoft, Gareth Bleasdale, and of course from CityFibre, Andy Wilson. Come on, Grover, please. Should we just do some quick intros? I think we should. Andy, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'm Andrew Wilson. I'm Sales Director for Business for CityFibre.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. I'm Gareth Bleasdale. I'm a modern work lead here at Microsoft.
And I'm Steve Blackshaw. I'm the All IP Director for BT Business.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Jen. Let's jump straight in. First question. I'm going to come to you first, Andy. Where do you see the most exciting opportunities for partners?
I think the market sort of changing event that is occurring right now is a massive opportunity. There's also a little bit of risk in there, I think, in terms of churn. I think there's two main shifts that are going to happen within the market. Obviously, the copper switch off, which means the ability to leverage full fibre capability from lots of other providers. And also the cannibalisation of 100 meg Ethernet. I see that as an opportunity and a threat for your bases. So I think that market evolved because there was no alternative, and there is a chunk of that market that basically paid for a product they probably didn't need at a price they probably couldn't afford to, and it was underpinned by a government scheme which is coming to an end. And I think there is a unique opportunity to go and win other people's bases.
Yeah, that's it's a great position. It's lovely to see you here, Gareth. Microsoft's perspective on this, where would you, probably a slightly different lens I'm thinking, but what would your perspective be?
Yeah, I think the switch off really is a stimulus. It's a change that's happening in a technology level. How you monetize that, how you make the most of that is up to you. And what we see is this is an opportunity to acquire. It's an opportunity to transform. And it's also an opportunity to think about what kind of business will I be running in 5 years, and then work backwards to create the portfolio, create the services, and create the capabilities that will allow you to achieve that success. So for us, it's all about using that lever to drive new technology, to drive transformation for those SMEs.
Yeah, fantastic. And Steve, I'm guessing BT have a fairly specific perspective on this one.
But this is a compelling event. I mean, everyone's saying it, right? And I think our COO summed it up at the start. It is a huge, compelling event. It has happened in lots of other countries over the last 20 years, so UK are really catching up now. And if you look at what's happening in every other country, first question you need to ask is, have we got the products? So I think Giacom have discussed it already, that we already had a fairly decent fibre footprint and it's deploying fast, both from OpenReach and from altnets, right? So that's getting great coverage across the UK now. Secondly, then, have we got the product set within that fibre footprint? So we already had FTTP, we already had Sigea. One piece in the jigsaw which was missing, which is just launched, is SO ADSL. So that last 6% you saw on the pie chart, we've got single order ADSL now. So all of this, I've got a site in the middle of nowhere, I can't get to it. We can get to it now. So SO ADSL, fixed wireless access launches this year into the wholesale channel. So radio access network and Kevin Bacon, we've got that as well, so you can get mobile over that. So that's fantastic. So have we got the products? Yes. Have we got the coverage? Yes. And I think for the UK, it's absolutely essential, because final benefit for customers from an infrastructure connectivity point of view is SLAs. The reason this network is closing for OpenReach, and I will speak on behalf of OpenReach here, right, closing a network, is getting old. Let's be clear, right? Marconi kit doesn't even exist anymore. Marconi, yeah, not making it. So you're going to run out of spares. At some point, you have to say we're drawing the line in the sand, because we're endangering the public and the welfare and the defence of the realm. Now, OpenReach would never sell a service to any of us. I'm sure CityFibre and any other altnet wouldn't either, which would endanger us. But you have to say this technology is getting old. When do we draw the line? They've drawn the line. So the fact is, we now need to act upon that, and that's why they're doing it. The great news is we've got the services to cover it.
Yeah. Steve, let's stay with you, because we might be in swimming elephant territory here, which is I'm sure these new solutions are going to cost more. I'm sure I'm going to have to go to my customers and say, look, we're swapping you, we're changing as a technology shift. It's going to cost you more money. Is it realistic to think customers will spend more?
I think it's a bit of an urban myth. Let me explain why. A lot of you in the room are resellers. How many of your SMB customers genuinely don't have broadband connectivity as well as PSTN. Not many, I would suggest. I'll talk about, there's a residential question that came up on, and I'll talk about residential later. But in terms of SMB and major business corporates, they already pay for connectivity for internet. The whole world runs on internet, let's be clear, right? So effectively to say to customers, I need you to get now your voice packets over the internet. Well, okay, I've already got internet. So the real question is, well, why are you paying for your PSTN lines? Wouldn't you be better having a much better technology software over the top solution with Microsoft or BroadSoft or any of those other great products, Zoom, rather than having PSTN or ISDN? Okay, and by the way, why are you sweating an old asset in the basement, which is a PBX, and paying maintenance on it? And by the way, that's probably end of life as well. Why would you not go and actually get software voice, integrate that into your workflows and your systems and your document storage, and actually have a great UC solution? So for me, that's the answer. It just makes more sense that commercially, you'd spend the PSTN money on voice software, bums on seats licenses, rather than on a PSTN. That's substitutional. If you look at the price of a bums on seat license, it's actually substitutional compared to a PSTN. I think what everyone's doing is looking at the PSTN and saying, yeah, but I need to buy a brand new broadband line and a software voice license. I'm fairly sure that building's already got a broadband line or an EAD. So actually, I think when you look at holistically, the commercials around this, I actually think it's a bit of an urban myth.
Yeah, okay. And did you share that viewpoint? Is that what CityFibre's position would be?
I totally agree. I think that there's a shift, isn't it? It's the same pot of money, but it's wallet share, and this is a unique opportunity where that wallet can go and sit in different places. Yep. And I think the partners and resellers that take advantage of the fact that there is that shift in dynamic can go and churn other people's bases. I think is a unique opportunity from what was quite a stable environment for a long time. Is now up in the air, and it's about fastest finger first mover advantage. People can get out there and start to get more of that wallet share from their competitors. Yes,
it's a great acquisition opportunity in actual fact. And I guess, Gareth, coming to Microsoft, if you have Microsoft in your stable as well, you've got a much bigger punch.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting when you look at those buying behaviours. The question as to whether we're going to spend more actually comes down to, are we going to invest? Is this the right thing for our business? And what you may find is that some organisations say, well, actually, we don't need that many PSTN lines. That's a technology that's no longer appropriate for us. But for every one of those, you've got 2 or 3 customers saying we absolutely need to develop our marketing engine, our sales engine, our business engine so that we can use those services to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's move on. Steve, this one I think is probably, we're going to come to you for this one. It's about edge cases. So I'm sure we've all got edge cases in our estates. And I think Claire showed us a stat earlier on that if you look at the next 2 years on the 60%, we're thinking 40 and then 20, because the edge cases will take a little bit longer. Can you just share with us, I know we've spoken to you about this before, what BT are doing to help out on some of those edge cases?
Sure. Elephants and snorkels, right? An edge case, for anyone that doesn't understand the term, and I understand if you don't understand it's a weird term, basically means anything that's connected to a phone line that's not a phone. And it is the mother, necessity is the mother of invention, right? We've invented, technically, over the last 50 years, lots and lots of things that connect to phone lines that are not phones. We can identify in BT from an inventory 330 edge use cases, which are unique. Those 330 are not level in propensity, the amount of time they appear in the market. Most popular one, fax machines. Okay, burglar alarms is a great one. EPOS onk and beep terminal, still connected to PSTN. They're the 3 most popular. And bell ringers, like ringers, carpet shops love bell ringers, by the way. So big warehouses that need a bell that rings. Of those 330, there's about 120 which are unique, and the rest are variants, what we call variants. Of the 120, we've identified in an edge use case inventory market solutions that can solve that problem. So bonk and beep terminals will be a square Wi-Fi, bonk and beep, right? Burglar alarms, you can get Wi-Fi alternates, red care upgrading, for example. Lift alarms is the most popular one we hear all the time. What happens if we get stuck in a lift? There's 5 manufacturers of a small box that sit on top of a lift elevator, which takes a 4 or 5G SIM, 3-week battery backup power in the box. You stick it on top of your elevator. if you're stuck in an elevator between floors for more than 3 weeks, the button's working, I'd suggest you've got a water problem. Saying all of that, we've got 2 years left, and there's a lot of this stuff out there, and the real challenge actually is not the solution now. We've been working very closely with Giacom on some of these solutions and helping provide some of the materials for the all-IP kit bag they give you. And it's a great opportunity actually as resellers to make some money, by the way, here. About 6 months ago, BT recognised this was a problem in the market though, because for our consumers in BT Consumer and in BT Business, for our own direct sales and also for our BT Wholesale resellers, white label, we recognise that over those 2 years, the customers are going to have to spend some money. They're going to have to make an investment, and that takes time as a project, and maybe you haven't got time now. So on the 1st of October 2024, for those that don't know, we're doing something extraordinary sitting on stage now, talking about a product that we haven't launched yet. So it's a bit Cybertruck. It's not an iPhone with a tariff behind us. I'm going to talk about something that we haven't launched yet. 1st of October 2024, and it will be available to Giacom. I'm sure we've already spoken about it. It will be launched. It's something called pre-digital phone line. What's pre-digital phone line? I promise you it's a digital solution. It's a PSTN emulator. We only suggest it's got an end of life on it already, 2030. So it buys us another 7 years. And in 2024, on the 1st of October, we go live with pre-digital phone line. And for any customer that's got an edge use case where you don't want to sell them an alternate solution, for the next 6 years, okay, it buys you 6 years to get them off, and that will go live on the 1st of October 24. Okay, so there are solutions out there. Please go and look at those solutions. That's definitely a first preferred option, because otherwise you're going to do a double hop over 5 or 6 years. Okay, but pre-digital phone line will be the backstop solution, and we can migrate customers for you onto it come 1st of October 24.
Let's move on and just maybe revisit this topic about additional revenues. It was interesting when we did the show of hands earlier on about how many people were using Teams, Gareth, and how many people were selling it. So just talk to us a little bit about Microsoft's perspective on how partners should be thinking about ways to generate additional revenue as we kind of come through the all-IP transition.
So I think, look, it's really clear solutions win when the customer has a great benefit, when the partner has a great benefit, and of course when the vendor has a good benefit out of it as well. And we think that through Microsoft Teams, we've created a model that encourages customers to consume technology that's going to make their lives easier, but it also creates great opportunities for you. And often when we talk about this, we fall into kind of a discussion around how do we monetize Teams Phone? At a brief level, whenever we're talking SMB, our partners are able to sell the whole license on a wholesale model. They're able to sell the connectivity and have a range of options on a wholesale model, which Giacom provide. They're able to sell ancillary services. And then touching on Nathan's point earlier, there's a huge volume of managed services that naturally fit into a Microsoft solution that you're able to offer. And those are often extremely rich margin services. So what we typically see is once partners go all in for Microsoft, they don't really turn back. They see the value add there. And because we've got such a heavy R&D engine, developing new capabilities, we're constantly bringing out new solutions that add to that addressable market for you and that are relevant to your markets. So that's the short answer.
Andy, a question for you. Obviously, additional revenues require full fibre ultimately. We can see that. We know that. We know that that's the transition that we're on. Do you, or can you share with us some projections or maybe just some CityFibre perspectives on when we honestly think we'll get to full fibre access for some of the individuals or businesses who don't have it right now?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to add that good solutions win with good connectivity, because that is the foundation. That's the starting point, right? And for me, I think it's about us supporting the market and ripping the plaster off and going on that best grade connectivity from day one, because if you don't and you're going on a transition, at some point there's going to be another churn event. And this is all around about base protection and base growth. And so I think from a CityFibre perspective, we'll carry on digging the country up to fulfill our programme. We're at over 3 million prems passed now. We are on track for our 8 million rollout, which is great. But I think it's about then the products we're putting on top. We've just released into consumer first, sadly, our multi-gig product. So it's a 1.2 gig both ways product in terms of FTTP. That's coming to business very shortly via Giacom. And for us, it's just about adding more bandwidth and more capability, but and ensuring there's that end-to-end true full fibre connectivity solution that then all these other great services can sit on confidently and offer best service and best service levels.
Yeah. So let's stay with you for this kind of final future thinking question, Andy. 5 years out, where is CityFibre going to be?
8 million homes and businesses built. It's pretty simple. I mean, I'm not going to excuse the fact our model is really quite simple, right? We're an infrastructure provider. We're digging the country up. We're putting brand new fibre infrastructure in on an alternative network, to other incumbents, and we're giving choice.
Gareth, same question to you. Just a bit of future thinking. So 5 years out, where do Microsoft see themselves? Where would you like to be with regards to the all IP journey?
Honestly, AI. I think we will see AI infused into each app. I think we will see much more of a general understanding in our populace in terms of how to consume AI in a safe manner. And what that will demand through every component of their work journey and their social journey is excellent connectivity to underpin it.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick show of hands. How many businesses who we have with us today are actively selling or thinking about starting up an AI practice or an AR set of services to resell to customers? Okay, so not very many. Not very many. Okay, interesting. Be great to have those conversations. Finally, Steve, BT, 5 years, what does it look like?
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting time. I'll talk a little about AI. We are starting to work with Microsoft and integrating AI into MS Teams. And if you think it's in a lab, it's not. It's on my laptop at the moment. I'm literally playing with MS Teams with AI on it. We get the betas, it's great. So that will eventually make its way into the products that we sell, which is brilliant. In terms of the network, obviously, the altnets push open reach hard, which is brilliant. So it helps us in BT Wholesale because, faster speeds and higher levels of connectivity, fibre footprint growing. For us, it's about use cases. It's not about connectivity, really. It's about what you use it for. That's what matters, isn't it? And ultimately, we're finding there's a lot of low latency applications entering the market. So connected car is a good example. So we're finding that low latency, when you have a virtual machine in the cloud, is not close enough to the device because it takes too long for the packets to get to Luxembourg and back in the cloud provider. So what we're doing increasingly is moving our compute to the edge of the network. So at the moment in the exchanges, some of them in stanchions on motorways and some of them in green cabinets, and that's getting to get closer and closer to you as end users and your devices. That's already started happening, so we already sell through BT Wholesale. We're talking to Giacom about it at the moment, something called AWS Wavelength, and it basically enables us to get compute that you can consume in BT's exchanges very close to your devices, enabling you to get really low latency applications. So if any of you are going to do brain surgery using a robot remotely or using a 5G phone, highly recommend it. But yeah, that will become very, very popular. And basically the network compute getting closer, built into the network, getting closer to you geographically. That's the future for the network, really.
Just wanted to say a massive thank you to Steve, to Gareth, and to Andy. Fantastic.